We got an '05 F350 Cummins swap, and a very similar version of that, a Civic Si.
Two very similar, yet not similar at all cars.
What's going on?
What is a Ford? I hate these
Great
stupid
start.
things.
Ford Territory?
What is a Ford
Yeah,
Territory?
what is a Ford Territory?
Did Ford annex a country? Like, I don't understand.
Was it like their Louisiana Purchase? Got a
Troy, please explain.
It's a 2004. That's what's most important.
better than the '05,
2021.
I'm hearing.
2021 Durango 392. Love those.
Got a C230 compressor. Little.
Nice.
Turbo.
Were those turboed? I'm pretty sure
Or is
they
it
were
supercharger?
think it was
Supercharged. Yeah,
supercharged.
you're right. Yeah. But yeah, which one would you guys pick? STI, Evo, or Focus
Yep.
RS?
Durangos
have
are
to pick.
amazing.
And you have to, any year.
So you can have a GC8 if you're an STI fan. You can have an Evo 10
Sure.
if you're soft in the head. You can have a Focus RS. You can have an Escort Kazi RS. Like, you know,
Pick any one.
Jenna's a fan of the Evo.
Evo, interesting.
Ben has a Lancer. So obviously he's going with an Evo and the Evo
Yeah.
7.
Nice.
I think the Evo crew is winning right now.
Yeah. I
Well,
think
there's
Yeah,
only
Evo
2 votes,
7.
so yes. Evo 7, that's cool.
So, Greg, which one are you taking?
The GTR. No.
Answer the question.
I'm obviously gonna
Just
stay
say
with my
other on
Subaru
there.
roots. I'm gonna go with the STI just because
you never owned one, though.
Unequal length headers for life.
It does sound good.
Jenna's going
Yeah,
for the
that's what
Focus
you're saying.
RS, which is better than Greg's choice. Hansen, I think I know the answer to this because you've actually owned one of these.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to go with the car that I did own, which is the Evo 9, which is probably that's probably peak Evo, I guess, because it certainly did
I
decline
would
once
say
they
yes.
went to the Evo 10. But you could probably argue with like Evo 5, I don't know, but Evo 9 is my choice.
Yeah, it's a good one. I agree. I would agree with that. I've been in yours,
Yeah,
and I've driven the 10, and the 10's it's not the same.
yeah,
So it's a cool car. It's a good car. Performs great, but it's not the same.
yeah.
Not the same.
I would probably say Focus RS, just because I actually, similar to how Greg didn't own an STI, I didn't own an RS, but I owned a Focus, 2 of them actually, and not having the hot version of it was always like a kick in the nether region. So like when the RS came out, it was like, this is super cool. We're finally getting the good stuff, all that. So yeah, it's probably RS for me. Aaron agrees with Hansen, Evo 9. Bella over here has got a
Nice.
CTSV wagon. That is an awesome piece of kit. Those are
Ooh.
amazing.
Yeah, love that. Supercharged.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan, tell you what, bro, with gas prices, I'm about to start driving a donkey. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
just
totally
about.
with you, dude.
Another one of Hansen's fans, Aaron, going with the Veloster Turbo.
Veloster Turbo.
Working
Got
on
the
that.
Veloster N, Aaron. Love those cars, man. Even the Turbo and the Turbo Ultimate, they're like ridiculously fun to drive.
Yeah.
Kenneth, I'm not even going to attempt that last name, is going with a 2013, is working on or driving a 2013 Passat TDI with a few small modifications, obviously one of which being, emissions related.
Yeah, the modifications on that are a piece of tape over the check engine light. That's the
Yeah.
biggest modification for that one.
It's fairly standard.
Sorry, man. I had to.
Fairly standard Volkswagen mod.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
like the first mod you do when you roll it off the lot and the light comes on.
Oh, we got our first Volvo, Ryan's Daily S60R with
All
the
right.
M66 manual
Manual.
box.
Nice.
Volvo crew.
Yeah.
Motel Accord. Straight 6. Straight 8.
The Nardo with an Audi S6.
Yeah.
Wow, this is the first time Chet's actually moving at a pace I'm struggling to keep up
Right.
with. Way to go,
I
guys.
know.
Exactly.
You guys are great. Keep it up. Keep
Yeah.
throwing out cars, even if you don't own them. This is
Nine-
fantastic.
Elijah with 98 M3 OEM. That's still E46, right?
No, that's E36.
E36. Okay. The
The
E46.
98, yeah, E36.
Yeah, they started around like 2002 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, we got Bridget, after my own heart, a IS 300. Used to have one of those. Miss it every single day. Want to get another one. Want to put a fire-breathing motor in it. Not sure which one. Something obviously badass. You know, and Ryan's got a 940 with a big turbo, big cam. Are those single cam? Oh, they're red block, single overhead cam, right?
Yes. Though I think they're singles. Ryan, you can correct me on that, but I think they're singles. I wanted to say that the 16 valves were duals, but I don't think. Although, wait, did the 940s go to duals? I don't remember. I'm not sure. Either way, they're sweet.
Let's see here. Ken's got a mutter. All projects are welcome, my good sir. Carter, 2000 Boxster S. Nice. Another
Good
Peugeot
car.
from Lawrence, S505. No idea what it is, but, yay.
Hey, you guys with all these Peugeots, can you comment where you're living? Because I'd love to drive one of those things.
Yeah, where are you guys from?
Yeah.
I know we've got like fans and stuff outside of the U.S., which is obviously like where we are all from. But like, where are you guys located? I'm curious just to hear where you guys are coming from. Thank you, Ryan. 16 valve head, all the DOHC. Okay, got it. Connor, what's up, Connor? Thanks for joining. Connor Secondino. What's an American car that I want?
You weren't here last
with a ton
week.
of power, but we could say C6 Corvette Z06.
Yeah.
That is definitely an
go.
American car I want very badly.
We have Aaron here, Australia. He
Nice.
obviously going with the Holden Commodore. I don't know if
Nice.
that's
Welcome
obvious.
from Australia, man.
D8s.
We just waiting for someone to say Falcon.
Lawrence, I am from Le Florida.
Is he Florida man?
Lawrence is
chat.
Florida man. Welcome, Florida man. Welcome to chat.
We got Minnesota. We got Florida or La Florida. Is that like the car? We have Texas.
It's
The
how you
Ferrari.
say
The
Florida
Ferrari.
in French.
Wasn't Ponce de Leon French? Fountain of Youth.
I want to say he was Spanish or Portuguese.
Connor's over here saying he wants an SSR SS. Real bad. Hey, British Columbia in the house.
kinda rare.
Thanks for tuning in, David.
Nice.
Nice.
Man, people from all over. This is great.
East
Yeah.
Coast.
East Coast Canada.
All right.
What's up, DDE fam?
New Jersey.
Although I guess DDE's West Coast over Vancouver, so all good.
To answer Jenna's question, we are all located in the great state of New Jersey.
Yes, and it is good here. A lot of people don't say it is, but it is quite nice here to be
Yeah,
honest.
it doesn't smell like most people say.
Yeah,
Just-
it's not all Jersey Shore and industrial parks. That's not it. That's not it. There's tons of woods here, actually, which not a lot of people know.
Also, it depends on where you go. There's a lot of great driving roads too in New Jersey, so not
Yeah,
a lot of people
absolutely.
know that.
But yeah, it's true. It's sort of a well kept secret up in the northern part of like the
Yeah,
counties we live in. Up in like if you're looking at like the northern part of New Jersey, like literally smack dab in the middle, that's where we are. And all north of us has like really nice driving roads.
So I got really two really pretty awesome comments here. Ken's on the mutter. It's a 97 Explorer, 4-inch lift on 31s.
Wow.
Off-road front bumper.
Ooh, nice.
5-liter
that.
V8, all-wheel drive. Cold air, 3-inch exhaust with the Flowmaster 40. I love a good off-road build. Ben,
That's sick.
That's
Greg
cool.
and I were actually talking about a potential off-road build for us earlier this week. Then Lawrence Kent, this might get under Hansen skins. The mid-engine Corvette should be the new Corvair. Change my mind. Love that.
I mean, the mid-engine Corvette is here to stay, so it's I don't know. That's the way it is going forward.
And not to
Yeah.
be that guy, but the Corvair was rear engine, like a Porsche.
Mm,
We're getting a little nitty pitty, but I love that comment.
Porsche.
That's comment of the day so
Porsche,
far.
yeah.
Porsche, you plebe, get out of here.
Yeah, how do most people say it? Porsche or Porsche?
I mean, in the U.S., most people say Porsche.
Oh yeah,
but
absolutely.
it's pronounced
How do you guys
Porsche.
say it? Exactly. Yeah. Porsche for me. I know it sounds a
Yeah.
little snooty, but yeah.
I always say Porsche, especially with my nose straight up.
Greg drinks
Also,
all
Lawrence,
beverages with a
100%
pinky
correct.
out.
Yes, Porsche.
Yeah.
Lawrence, tons of woods in New Jersey to bury the bodies. Yes.
Yeah.
Jimmy
I mean,
Hoff is
that's-
around here somewhere, man.
He's under Giant Stadium.
He's the bulge on the 20, right?
Let's see here. There was one other one I wanted to. Leonardo, his dream car is an Audi R8. Awesome vehicle. Would love to get my
Nice.
hands on one of those. Probably a really good entry level supercar. Lots of Lamborghini goodies. Okay. Elijah starting his 94 FJ Z80 Land Cruiser build. Awesome.
Wow. That's gonna be great.
Love to see that.
Yeah,
Hopefully you
sick.
take it overlanding or something like that.
Absolutely.
That'd be fun.
Getting like a roof tent. That'd be sick.
Yeah. Yeah. Went off-roading once and like saw a bunch of those cars with just like those expanding tents, got like gas
Yes.
cans. Like you could just survive out in the woods and not like run into civilization in those vehicles. It's great.
Yeah. We have a really quick to something from Kenneth. He was talking about his car, like, oh, I will have to post pictures of mine sometime on a post or something. We actually have two places you can post stuff if you really want to. One, we have a supporters group on Facebook. If you're on Facebook watching this, it's called Shift Squad. If you go to our Facebook page, you can actually like look at the posts on there. We're trying to build that up. It's a paid for group. It's $5 a month. It helps to support the stream, but you also get access to like us. We just go in there and chat. We ask questions, and we have questions from there on stream. So that's something you can do to more interact with us if you wanted to. You don't have to, but it's just something. It helps us to support us, and we get to like talk to you. We'll post polls in there. We're trying to like build that up and be more interactive with you guys. And if you don't want to do that, there's also another group we run on Facebook. It's called Shift Posting, which is directly tied to our Facebook page. We post like memes in there and car news and stuff, and we're rebuilding our website a little bit. We're going to start posting links in there. So if you do want to post anything pictures wise, you can go to either one of those two groups and like start posting stuff and talking with us. So those are just two places you can kind of chat, because the Facebook page, if you post something on there, it goes into this little like side thing. No one really sees it. So just a quick PSA out of the way. Just wanted to let you guys know.
Nice.
Let's see what else we got. In process of a 1977 SS Big Block
Oh,
Posi
Chevelle.
4-speed. Nice. Yeah, that's sick.
Is it?
Is it our dream
Whatever
car
you
or
want,
build?
yeah.
Both.
Whatever
can
you
have a dream
want.
car and a dream build. Doesn't matter. My dream car would be like a Pagani Huayra, but my dream build would be like an old Volvo Amazon 122 wagon with like a LS and like a huge blower on it. Like that'd be sick. I'd be cool with that.
Yeah.
Drastically different than a Pagani.
That would be the complete opposite of a Pagani Huayra, I think.
Yes, yes it would.
Logan sitting here with a third gen Camaro. Nice. Those are really cool and
Those are cool.
affordable at this point in the proceedings, and so much aftermarket support. Lawrence Kent asks, do you guys
Yes.
do a DOT approved traffic school? We take a class in high school, we take a written test, we put 6 hours with an instructor behind the wheel, a year of having a licensed driver with us, and then we're free to roam the streets. I think newer drivers
Yep.
I think
Basically
newer drivers
nothing.
in Jersey have like a year of provisional license where they have a curfew and all that stuff. All the stuff we skirted, but it is shockingly easy to get a driver's license in
Yeah. In the U.S., you can basically take trained chimps, give them a license, and throw them on the street, and the DOT will probably
if
be
you
okay
make-
with it.
And if you make too
It's
many
nuts.
mistakes on the road, they'll send you back to school for a mandatory, like 6-hour thing or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah,
And you can open
Yeah.
the book as you take the test.
And your insurance will also go up. So depends on what you do.
AirPods don't like my ears.
Yeah. Jen, a dream car used to be a Bugatti Veyron. Now it's the Chiron. Yes. Yes. When you have like several $1 million to spend, let me know. I'll come drive it for you. We'll do a review on the ship.
Janet's husband's got a 1969 Camaro SS. One of our regular viewers, Lou and Courtney, if you're in the stream, that's their dream car. So, well done.
Nice.
Let's see.
Those old late 60s
the
Camaros are just amazing. I love those cars.
We have...
Yeah.
Sean's got a dream car, but wishes to put a LBWK kit silhouette and over 2,000 horsepower. I have to be honest, I have no idea what you just said.
Yeah, not sure. Couldn't tell you.
Elaborate on that, please.
Couldn't tell you what that is. Liberty Walk kit.
Okay.
A Liberty Walk silhouette kit. I think that's what
There it is.
Shorthand.
R35.
So Sean,
There
let
it
us know in the comments. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, GTR. Yeah,
Sweet.
Liberty Walk silhouette kit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are awesome. I don't like Liberty Walk kits, but that one actually looks really good on that car. There's a YouTuber out there right now. It wasn't a wide body kit, but his name's Stephen Lewis. He's like part of the Utah crew with like Stradman and Burlacker and all them out there. He did like a pretty low key kit with like some canards, a wing and stuff like that. It looked super good. It wasn't wide body or anything, but like if I owned a GTR and R35, like that's what I would do. Like carbon fiber, super like it's obviously like modded, but I wouldn't go for the crazy wide body air suspension, none of that stuff. I'd like to be
if
static
anything, that would
if I was doing
ruin
an R35.
the great performance car that is the GTR R35. Like increasing the track width and like having all that aero, unless you're making a ton of power. I'm really sure if you're really improving the car, but definitely looks badass though.
For me, for the R35 kit I would use is the B is for build, cut form, change inches out of it, and slap an R34 body on it. Regardless of what Tommy FES says about it, that is the perfect R35. Yes.
The R69. Nice.
I can't wait till the R34s are available in the States. It's a couple of years away.
Yeah, only a couple more years.
But you can't touch those for less than 6 figures, and it's crazy.
Well, what you would do is you'd do the same thing Chris did at B is for Build. You'd get a R35 GTST or something similar, and then get the 35 aftermarket conversion kit to it, so you're not hacking up a perfectly good R34, because that is criminal. That is, because there's so many different versions of those chassis and stuff like that.
Yeah. And actually, you could you could modify the R32s. I've seen some jobs where like they took an R32 and they just kind of grafted an R34 body on it. It looks kind of wonky, but still looks cool, I think.
Best for the R32 is the Pandem wide body. It just makes it look so awesome and stuff like that. Real quick, just catching up on a couple of comments. We have Charles, who likes Gregson's Volvo. He'll trade you his 96 850 for it. I think
I will respectfully pass.
Tyler over here with a done-up 2013 Genesis 3.8 manual. Love the look and the sound. Hey, that's what cars are
the
about.
Right
Man.
engine
You can
right
get
there.
it, and you can get... Jesus. These stupid AirPods suck. Ken posted both of his stuff.
Hansen are fine.
It's my ego trying to press its way out.
It's like, you can't contain me, AirPods.
Ken went ahead and posted his stuff in shift posting. Nice. But real quick.
Nice.
Nice. This is probably my favorite part of doing all of this, is to get in to see what you guys drive. Because never thought we'd go down a GTR path or even a Genesis path or Chevelles, all that other awesome kind of really cool stuff. So thanks. But
by the way, sorry, I just wanted to comment. Tyler has his 2013 Genesis. The new Acura Integra looks like the old Genesis. from the rear. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
A little bit.
It's like it's
Yeah.
a revival of the Hyundai Genesis, which is just weird.
Yeah, a little bit.
Let's see here.
Yeah. So, going back to sort of like the question we had at the beginning. So, like, we all answered it with, okay, well, we'd have STI or Evo or whatever. So I'd have the STI, Hansen, you'd have the Evo, Chad, you have the RS, obviously. So I don't know if you guys saw, but there's some pretty huge news that came out recently.
Yeah.
Especially considering the topic we're on is mostly JDM right now. They are not going to make an STI anymore. There was no lead up to it. Subaru basically just announced it the other day. It was just like, nope, no more STI. Peace out.
Yeah, I mean, I think
done.
Well,
it's shocking.
I think it is really shocking because I mean, you could have.
It was actually.
You could have made actual buzz about the next generation Impreza WRX as it is and stuff, but because everybody's complaining that it's a lowered crossover, it's a an all track with or not all track, whatever the crossover is from Subaru. Crosstrack. I was close. And all this, and it was kind of like, but if you made it the last gas-powered STI, people would want it. It's just, just similar to how like the Evo 10 wasn't the best Evo, but people still wanted it because it was the last one. You would have had huge demand for it. They wouldn't have been able to keep them in the showrooms, but they decided not to. And I think, Greg, you'll go into more detail about this because it would be a limited production run or a limited year run.
Right, exactly. And that's what they should have done. So there was an article that just came out today, I think Road and Track reported on it, basically saying, if Subaru were to make this car, this new STI on the new gen platform with the 2.4 and everything, the whole like revamp, chassis and everything, it would have been like 1 to 2 year run. And then it would have been like kaput because of like how everything's going with like the government and saying, okay, well, all the new regulations, everything needs to be either EV or like hyper MPG, which, that's sort of the path everyone was like going in. But to have it like this abrupt and for the manufacturer to say, oh, well, it would have been produced for 1 to 2 years. Like, well, why didn't you do that? You could have had this limited run, super, sought after 2 year span of the last STI as like a gas powered STI. In the announcement, they said, oh, well, STI, they'll make another one, but it'll probably be either, until like the EV technology kind of catches up for Subaru. That's what they'll make it. They'll bring it back as an EV, which like cool. That's awesome. I'm really excited to see what STI can make, especially considering like what Hoonigan just did for Ken Block with like the Hoonitron, like that e-tron, crazy shit show of a car that's amazing and just like shreds. Like that's cool. Like I'm excited to see what like all these JDM companies can make with like really high-end performing EV cars like that. But this sort of seems like a cop-out, and I thought about it a little bit more today. And I really wonder, could like tinfoil hat going on, I really wonder if because of the online backlash that the WRX got because of its looks and like how controversial it's been, that they decided to just not make an STI version and save it for the EV version in a couple of years. I really wonder, because usually historically for the last 30 years, Subaru has made an STI alongside of the WRX. And Chad made a point earlier of, oh, well, how hard is it to just make a WRX into an STI? Really not that difficult. A couple of upgraded parts, some, upgraded engine, suspension, whatever parts here and there, bigger wing, a little bit more aggressive of a body, whether it be like lips or spoilers or side skirts or what have you. And there's your STI with, bigger turbo or better tuning, whatever. It's not that difficult to make an STI out of a WRX from the manufacturer. So my question is,
I totally agree with your last sentiment there. Like the justification for not bringing an STI for this generation was kind of weak, right? It was basically saying that I forgot the guy's name, Infante, I think, from Subaru. He basically said that, just based off of regulations, we can't really make the decision to build an STI because of that. But yeah, like the STI has always been the the hotter version of the WRX. It's not like it's a standalone car that's been built up from the ground. It's just got like a more aggressive engine tuning. It's got better suspension bits. It's got bigger brakes, the body kit. So yeah, it doesn't make sense for them to just kind of cut it out. And the STI could have been like the thing that saved the current gen's WRX awful design, right? It's like it's got all that black cladding.
Right.
You should come out with a WRX STI that kind of paint matches all that black cladding, and it'll make the car look so gorgeous, I bet, because it looks more like a wide version of the WRX, and it's just going to look more unique.
And you know what? I made a video about why the haters were wrong about the new WRX, which, you know, in some people, like I'm one of those people, but what always happens with the WRX specifically is you get people literally saying, "Oh, this is such a trash new car. I can't wait to see what the next one's going to be. This one sucks. The old one's better. Blah blah blah." And it happens every generation of WRX, literally every one of them. So people are already starting to warm up to it because I'm seeing comments online. It's like, "Oh, you know what? It doesn't look that bad." Blah 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 blah. But like, this was just such a drastic departure from the last one, and it was so controversial. Like, I don't know. I feel like that probably had a lot to do with them saying no. I really do.
I mean, it really comes down to the economics of it all. That's really the reason why cars aren't made, is because they don't have a business case for it. And I'd be interested to see what the sales numbers have been like for the STI as it progressed through the different generations.
Better and better is the answer to that question.
Better and better. Okay, so like this doesn't make sense that they decided not to do another STI.
Yeah.
So,
and for anyone listening that wants to check out car figures, you can go to our great website. It's called goodcarbadcar.com, and you can get basically anything you want from Sales Figures. That's a great site to go look stuff up on. That's basically the source that I use for Sales Figures, other than Wikipedia, which usually has it wrong. But I think Good Car Bad Car is usually mostly North America. But yeah, the WRX and by extension the STI has sold more and more each year, up until I think 2018 or 2019 when they started to fall off because it was, again, an older platform. Usually it does this and then keeps going up and up and up. So there's like, you know, a good uptick, little dip, uptick, little dip, and it's the same thing. But it's always been a sort of a linear progression.
So I've got another conspiracy theory. I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat here, because if you look back. And I hate how this happens, because like when the Evo was fighting the STI, it was like great for a couple of years. And then the Evo started to kind of like just kill off that entire line. And then the STI was like the reigning king for like up until now for like all-wheel drive turboed cars. But then I'm thinking maybe Subaru doesn't want to compete anymore, because there's a pretty fantastic car that's coming out in the States, I think around next year. So everywhere else, there's this new car called the Toyota GR Yaris, and that is a sick, 3-cylinder, right? Turbocharged all-wheel drive car. And a version of that is going to be available in the States. We don't know in what form. A lot of people are saying the Corolla GR. That'd be cool. But I got a feeling that, without WRX STI in the mix, I feel like the Corolla GR or GR Yaris is going to be like the new turbocharged all-wheel drive king. They don't nearly make the same amount of power, but like I'd be interested to see like how the two compare to each other.
Yeah.
Again,
agree.
Tinfoil hat off.
No, I think it'd be really cool. And like, what are we sort of left with like, hot rally inspired, or at least
GR Corolla
in that realm of cars? It's the the Corolla GR that's coming out.
Yeah.
Your GTI/Golf R.
But even so, that's like the rally cars, the Polo.
Well, right.
Oh, yeah,
I'm just talking about like,
but we don't.
All right, so what broader topic? Hot hatch. What's left, or hot like hatch? that's also maybe a sedan. Something.
Now, is it going to be all-wheel drive?
Anything, honestly,
Yeah.
like anything that's out there in this realm. What else is
Veloster
out
N, Type R,
Yep.
Civic,
Yeah.
one of the 7 different Volkswagen hot hatches,
Yeah.
GTI, Golf R.
I will throw in there the Mazda 3 hatchback turbo. So I think that's a 2.5 liter turbo. I know you're shaking your head.
I agree with you, Justin. Focus is better than
it,
STI.
It's got all the right bits. It's got 2.5 liter turbo. Makes 275 horsepower.
Speed on the back?
It doesn't, but you can make it your own Mazda speed. But it has all-wheel drive, man.
All-wheel drive doesn't mean anything without the right tires on it. You know that, Evo guy.
So put good tires on it then. That's an easy mod.
But still, like, so there are a couple of different options, but like it seems like a couple of years ago we had like 10 or 12. Now we're down to like what, 6, 7?
Well, that's the death of the car, right? I mean, the crossovers coming in and not axing cars left and right, you know.
Yeah.
Antone made a good point. He was saying potentially why the STI was canceled, most likely because Subaru North America, i.e. the dealerships, who would have marked up heavily the standard STI Type RA if one were to come, and if they took it all the way to the top, a global STI S210. Basically, what we're seeing in a lot of different things is any car that anybody wants gets marked up to high heaven at the dealerships, and it kind of kills the middle level enthusiast or something like that, which I thought was kind of interesting. You know, if you want to.
Yeah, I mean it's a good point, but the problem is like the last gen STI was 45 grand topped out. So I mean, and people still bought that. So it's the price point there is sort of moot because it performs like a $45,000 or $50,000 car. That's what an STI is supposed to do. And if you bought an STI and put it up against a comparable 3 Series, the STI would probably beat it in a lot of key categories. So, you know, if you're talking $45,000, $50,000 car, markups definitely would happen for sure, but the markups aren't going to last forever. In this crazy market, you know, things will level off and come down eventually, but getting rid of the car just for that purpose, especially from a global standpoint, seems a bit silly. Especially from a price point, because people are still paying these prices for these cars. Like, it's not like dealers are hurting. Like, the dealers don't have inventory because people bought all of their cars. Like, that's the reality of the situation. So if they still marked it up, people would still go out and buy these cars. There are several salespeople I know in the United States that do basically, they go onto forums and they say, hey, you know, I'm doing, you know, these volume sales for STIs, WRXs, whatever, you know, at cost essentially, you know, and, you know, I don't know how they make money on that, but I think it brings just in more notoriety for the dealerships themselves, but they basically just do that. And then you get people coming in and buying them off the showroom floor too. So there's people would still buy it regardless of the price. That's not the issue. The issue is, I think Subaru just doesn't want to make something that they don't have to at this point, and they can focus their development on sort of the next step. And I don't know. I think they think the WRX is adequate, and maybe like their performance transmission they're considering is the CVT. So maybe that says all you need to know. I don't know.
Well, technically, a CVT is the best performance transmission if the engine can handle it, because it constantly keeps you in the right power band. But as Williams found out when they tried to do an F1 CVT, it was like, yeah, we can't make peak horsepower always. The engine will explode. Right. So there's that. So yeah, it's sad to see because like we're losing enthusiast cars left and right, but it is good to see that like Toyota's coming in being like, hey, you guys need something? We got it.
Yeah.
You know, it is cool to see someone filling the void until invariably it all becomes electric or, you know, hybridized, etc. But just to move on, Hansen, hold on, let me get the right.
While you're doing that, I have been enjoying the slideshow of wonderful WRXs.
I
Yeah.
want a 22B.
I gotta be honest.
I want one. I want one badly.
Quite nice. I would love a. Well, now that the STI is gone, I really want to go back and get a. I really want to go back and get a an STI hatchback from like 2013, 2014. I think that would be really nice.
The STI version of your car.
Correct. Yeah. Just be.
No.
I think that's
no,
now going to be a collector's car.
No.
Honestly.
No. No.
Yeah, I think my favorite is the Hawkeye, which is what you're looking at
Yes.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that came out when I was buying my Evo 9, and I was like struggling, deciding between the two, and I eventually went with the Evo 9. But I really liked the look of the Subaru Hawkeye STI.
It's Hawkeye, GC8, everything else.
Yeah, I will say the GC8. I will say the GC8 is the best looking one ever made, and it's from the 90s. But a lot of best looking ever made are from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
So
Japan was on a bit of a hot streak when it came to things in the 90s. So,
Yeah.
So anyway,
Anything in the 90s greater than who is that?
wife bomb.
Justin with a great comment here, I agree with 100%.
Yes, you are.
The Z is a decent rear-wheel drive, twin turbski. I lost my place. All for around $40K. I think it'll be the next big tuner car down the road. I don't think it's going to take that long. It's going to be.
I agree.
It's going to right out of the box. I mean, because that engine has been in other Nissans and Infinitis, so tuners already know what to do with it, with those turbos, everything. The manual is an updated version of the CD009, which everybody knows by this point has been vetted out and all this other sort of stuff. It's got a mechanical limited slip differential, no electronic trickery. It's going to be instant. You're going to see you're going to see those things maxed out pretty quick.
Does the Z have I know the Nismo had like a viscous type LSD. I don't know if it had a mechanical LSD. I don't know if the base Z is going to have a limited slip differential or not. But anyway,
the base. But when you do the options and stuff, I mean, you're going to have a 400 horsepower car under $45,000, rear wheel drive, turbocharged, and it's not a VQ. So win.
And also huge community. The Z has a huge community, and lots of aftermarket support. So yeah, no doubt that's going to be like I'm not going to say it's the next big thing, but you're going to see them everywhere, I think.
Yeah, I agree, and they're great looking.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. Let's see here, just real quick, catching up on some comments here. Last thing we're going to say about this Subaru real quick is from Anton is a question. So no STI. Will Subaru upgrade the GT WRX to have like a manual box and maybe some other goodies that kind of...
No.
There's the answer.
No, they won't do that. The Subaru, when they make a decision, they don't change it. They never do. They basically are like, this is what you get. You can do what you want with it.
Damn you, Fuji heavy industry. Let's see here. Tyler.
Heavy emotional damage. That's what's going on right now.
Tyler's loving the fact that Cadillac has stuck with the manual in their sports car. For now, these are the last generation Cadillacs to have a manual until we see them go all electric.
Yeah.
But transitioning to something slightly different, but also blue. Hansen, you have been driving the Lexus NX. You just released a review on it. Tell us some interesting facts about it.
All right, so yeah, the Lexus NX. Yeah, we went from talking about sports cars to crossovers. But
state of 2022 cars.
Viewership has dropped to 0.
Goodbye, audience.
Turns out this is faster than a Bugatti Chiron, and we're going to tell you why.
Yeah. But I mean,
this
the Lexus
NX can beat a Pagani in a drag race.
It can also fly. It has wings that deploy. But this thing is all new, So the NX, it's like a hot seller. But if you looked at the older Lexus NX, it just looked kind of awkward. And also, like the infotainment system, it has that weird touchpad thing that everyone hates. So this new NX is like it's totally new inside and out. If you guys are watching Bel Air, it's on Peacock. Basically, it's like a gritty reboot of the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. He
Such a dumb
drives this
take.
car. I've been enjoying it, but that's just me. But he drives this car, but I like it a lot because the infotainment is fully upgraded. So it's like I hated the old Lexus touchpad because it was just so cumbersome to use. You have to use a touchpad. There's no touchscreen. So, but with this one, there's like this huge 14-inch touchscreen. It's like much easier to use, and I just love like the new interior design. It just looks so much better, and also the exterior looks really nice too. I love like these new headlights that you're looking at right now. The old one, the daytime running lights were like a separate unit from the headlight unit itself. This one's all integrated, so this looks like the UX, the new IS. It looks like the all the new Lexus facelifts. And here you see like the older Lexus NX. It has that overbite design, which is just weird. So it's just been redesigned. It's got like new character lines and everything like that. So overall, pretty good car. It's a Lexus. It's comfortable. Greg, you wanted to say
Interesting
something?
point on these.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like Lexus knows what they're doing. Watch the ad.
Oh, hey, Outlander.
If you're looking for a Mitsubishi Outlander, click on our ad on our
Yeah.
on our YouTube video. They sell the living out of these things. They sell so many of these. This is, I think, the best-selling luxury crossover. Is that correct?
Well, I think the best-selling luxury crossover might be the RX. So that's like a size up from this.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Right. It is. You're correct.
But I'm
But
pretty sure
they
this
sell a
is
ton of
close
these
to
things.
that. Yeah, because this is based on the RAV4. And the RAV4 is super popular. Lexus and Toyota, they're related. But yeah, this is on the same platform as the RAV4. It's also got like a bunch of different engine options. There's a 2-liter, there's a 2-liter turbocharged, there's the hybrid, which is what I tested, and then there's also the NX 450h Plus. So that's the plug-in hybrid hardware. So now, if you guys have heard about the RAV4 Prime, right? That's the plug-in hybrid RAV4. It's actually like the second quickest car just behind the Toyota Supra that Toyota makes. And it's a RAV4, which is kind of insane to think about it.
Bonkers to think about.
Yeah, but it's
Slam
got
it,
like
channel it, chop it, hot hatch.
Yes, super in for that. That would be awesome.
Yeah, right. But it's got the internal combustion engine, and it's also got the electric motor. So they're going to put that exact hardware into the Lexus NX 450h Plus, and that is going to be a really good car, just because it's so fast, and you got like a all electric range as well. So,
Yeah.
but overall, I like that. I like this thing a lot. It's way better than the previous one. And also, there's one other thing. I don't know if you could scroll to it or not, but you guys have like 360-degree cameras, right? You've seen vehicles that have that feature. Yeah. So I don't know where you could skim to. Probably like right over there, maybe. I don't know. But so let me try and describe this. So the way 360-degree camera works is that you have a camera in the front bumper, one in the rear bumper, and then one each underneath your side view mirrors, right? So between 4 of those cameras, it all gets stitched together. But you can't see right underneath the car, right? Because there's no cameras there. So what Lexus did here is that when you put your car into reverse, they took the information from the other cameras and project it underneath the car. So it looks like you have an invisible car.
Whoa, that's cool.
It's like bonkers to think about, but like at one point in this video, I put the car into reverse, and then it starts to show like what's underneath the car, which is
that's sick, actually.
So, but anyway.
Whoa, does it have wireless charging and then like a stowable tray?
Yeah.
That's like all right. Look.
It's like
these vehicles get shit on constantly by enthusiasts, but
as they should.
I mean, yes, from a performance perspective, there's
All
like
things.
these things are just they're literally soulless commuter cars. Yes, but there's like cool tech, like a
Oh yeah,
wireless charging tray that you can like slide in and
right.
stow away. That's a really cool like piece of like technology that I would never have thought either possible or could do
Right.
anything with. I love that you can kind of just stow it and forget it in there. Your
Some
phone is like
companies that's
away.
actually a detriment because when you close the hatch, it blocks GPS signal. The early, I think, press models of the Mark 8 GTI had that problem where you'd have the wireless charging pad, it would do its thing, you'd close it, and it would immediately lose GPS signal.
Oh, that
Wow.
sucks. Interesting. But like,
Um,
but things like that, like that's the kind of cool stuff. And in all of these like cars, you're getting like these interesting things
yeah,
being put into these cars because this is what people buy. You know,
yeah,
these are
exactly.
what this is like the cool stuff comes from these cars. It used to be the cool stuff came from sports cars and then trickled down to the consumer stuff. Now it's the other way around. Like the
Yeah.
consumer stuff's getting all like sort of the cool things, and then they like retrofit that into like the sports cars.
I will say that like Lexus did a lot of work into making this like a great commuter car. It's like it's not exciting to drive, you know, it doesn't really have a lot of power, but
Mm.
in terms of like comfort, convenience, and like also like keeping your attention so that you're not bothered by all the stuff. So what I mean by that is that they have this heads up display. It's like a 10-inch heads up display, which is insane. And there's so much information on that thing that like you don't even have to look away. And I like that, you know, because that keeps your attention on the road and instead of like over here in the infotainment system somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, and plus, like, if you're gonna buy a car in this range, just they're all not great. They're not enthusiast cars.
Yeah,
Just buy the Lexus. It's never
yeah,
going to break. If you're
yeah,
buying it as a commuter car, don't buy a Mercedes, don't buy a BMW, don't buy an Audi. Like they're all nice looking cars, but just buy the Lexus. You're buying it as a commuter car. This thing won't break, and if it does, Lexus is the best at like dealing with this stuff. So, like, just get the Lex. Just get the Lex.
yeah.
I
And this,
like I would daily this car because it's comfortable, good
yeah,
on gas of the hybrid, and is again very reliable. It's just like
yeah.
three hallmarks of a good commuter car.
I have to double check the mileage, but I think you get like 39 mixed or something like that, which is
It's
just
good.
incredibly high.
Yeah,
And considering
Tyler.
today's prices too, it's
Right. Yeah. Tyler makes a great
yeah,
point. It's like he says, I mean, it's not like you're going to be doing launches with it. Like, yeah, of
yeah,
course.
You
You're
might
buying
not.
this thing basically just driving around.
yeah.
Yeah, Chad would. Chad would do launches. He'd find a way to make launch control work on this thing.
I did try to launch this thing, and I was like, and we're going, and we're still going, we're still going. Like, wow, this is really comfortable. That's the first thing
Yeah.
Question would for Hansen. Last we'll kind of go over with for this thing. This or any other mid-size luxury crossover SUV, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah, well, this is considered a compact crossover, I guess. But I mean, this is up there. It looks beautiful. The other one I would kind of choose is probably like a little bit off the wall, but like the Hyundai Tucson. It's not a luxury, but it's like that car is it has a lot of space in the cargo and in the second row, and it like dwarfs this thing in terms of cargo space. But that would probably be my choice, the Hyundai Tucson. Not just because of the car, but it's also got like a sick warranty. Watch the ad.
Watch the ad.
Yeah.
Boost, give us back that penny.
Greg, your
Yeah.
compact luxury crossover of choice.
Good question. Compact luxury cross. I'm the wrong person to ask about this because I don't choose the sensible one ever. I would probably go with the BMW X1 if they still make it, or the X2, because it's basically like a hot hash. It's got either dual turbos or a single twin scroll, and I would tune it, and I would do that. That's what I would do. I would not buy the commuter car. That's not that's not what that's not what I would go for. If I'm buying, I like weird, interesting cars that aren't exactly, going to break down a ton, but also are not necessarily like a Lexus. So I don't know. I would consider this. I would drive it for sure, but I'm not sure that I would probably purchase this. Plus, I also don't know a ton of the luxury compact realm, so I don't know what else would be out there in this price point or in this class.
Yeah. Actually, the car that I just reviewed a couple of weeks before this was the Volvo XC60. I totally forgot about that one. I would probably pick that one if I don't care about reliability. Because that one has the new Google built in, and I've read the comments in the YouTube in our YouTube video, and a lot of people have been complaining about like the infotainment system breaking down and just like a lot of quality issues, because this is the first year that they're doing Google built in with Volvo. And, I think they have like 4 models with Google built into it. And then they also don't have things like Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is really weird for a car in 2022. But other than that, man, the car is so beautiful. I test drove the Inscription version, which is the Lux version. And I really like that a lot.
Interesting. Oh, luxury compact. Speaking of that, I'd probably buy a Volvo XC40.
Oh yeah, that's a good choice.
Honestly,
that's a good choice.
Honestly,
yeah.
those are actually really good cars, and they're actually sneaky because they're about as quick as a GTI. I think 0 to 60 in that is like 6.3, and a GTI is about 6.1. The new GTI might be a little bit quicker. I'm not sure. I haven't looked up the numbers yet, but Volvo XC40 would be my choice. They're quirky. They're cool. They look great. And there's a couple of them lowered out there that look really nice. And honestly, that would probably be my choice in this category, is XC40. Just because, one, I'm a Volvo enthusiast and I love Volvo stuff. Been a big fan of that brand for a long time. But they're also just a pretty solid car from what I've seen.
Yeah, agreed.
Alrighty. Next up, now, as you guys know, as both of you know, Gran Turismo 7 just came out. Now, I believe, Hansen, you got it. Greg, you're being a dad. They told you stuff like this would happen.
Yeah.
Would be an end result. And
I don't have a PS5, so I need another one of these to calm myself.
You can get it for PS4. That's
exactly.
But
that sounds like news to him.
Still remains. I need another one of these.
So, why is this locking me? Anyway, I think before we were getting prepared for the stream, Hansen had asked the question. I just got an E30 M3 in Gran Turismo, and should I mod it? And I responded with, I modded the crap out of mine.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you're looking at here. Mine...
Well, I'll give you some context to that. Basically, when you're going through, if any of you guys have played GT7, they have like this cafe system where you basically just go to this cafe and try to like fulfill missions, right? Like do different types of races, like getting like driving an FR Japanese car, an FR European car. And then, by fulfilling all of these missions, you get rewarded with like different cars and stuff. And usually it works out that the rewards that you get kind of feeds off to the next challenge that you're going to do. So I had just won this E30 M3, in like real life, this classic car is worth like well in the 6 digits. And then I have to basically take this car onto this FR German with German cars, and I could just like go out and buy my own, but I was like, well, I already have this thing, and I basically have to kind of like modify it slightly so that it's somewhat competitive for that specific challenge. But I was like, I was putting in all like the air intake, the muffler, the Brembo brake pads, and like all of these things. And I know this is just a game, but I started feeling guilty for like modifying this classic car. I'm like, it's like, should I really put this $600 air intake into this classic M3? I'm like,
You did it to your
I did it
Veloster.
anyway.
That's a
Answer is
future
always
but I'm
classic.
yes.
like, I hesitated like for a quick minute. I was like, should I be doing this? But anyway,
Yes, you should put X tape over the headlights too while you're at it. Make it happen.
Yes. Yeah. So I went for I didn't even like. So like the thing with GT's Gran Turismo's, for as far as I can remember, is if you took a road car and then gave it the most power it could possibly handle, it didn't handle it. Like you would never get grip, you would never get anything. I did a Mustang in this game with like 800 horsepower or 750 horse, somewhere in that neighborhood, and like you're in a race and you just you're trying to be good on the throttle and you just look down and you see the traction control meter just doing this, like it just won't hook. So like this is an all NA build. This is like a DTM tribute build inside of Gran Turismo. It even has what Gran Turismo calls the wide body, which is hilarious because it's just rolled fenders, which I find it's just
so it's every F boy is basically like, I got a wide body kit.
yeah. So
No,
it's
you
just
don't.
rolled fenders, but like
Stupid.
it does it enough to where you have to mess with the offset or the width of your wheels with the offset and stuff. So it's kind of cool in a nerdy kind of way with that and everything like that. So like but like I said, I did a Mustang, and here's arguably one of the coolest things about
Oh, nice.
about these about Gran Turismo as a whole, and what I was really cool, and you see a little bit of it here with the vents, and like they nailed
nice
the
park
exhaust,
bench.
like they nailed the exterior, you get all that stuff, which is okay, as to be expected.
where's the bits of pedestrian stuck on the hood? I don't see that.
I had to take this to the car wash before doing this segment, so
Okay, got it.
and it actually
That's
won't let you.
GTA 5, not GT7.
But here's the coolest
Oh.
thing about this is that
Steak.
this is the Mustang interior. Like this is a regular, I can tell you right off the bat, this is a premium interior, but it doesn't have like the Recaros and stuff, but the infotainment system, the volume knobs, all that stuff is as is. The shift knob, the cup holders, even the stitching on the armrest in the center there, the e-brake, all of that is as it is in my car. Like, as many of you guys
That's
know,
really
I have a
cool,
Mustang.
yeah.
And here's the really cool thing. If you look at the Speedo, it says ground speed on it, like it does in the Mustang, paying tribute
Yeah,
to the
that's
P51
cool.
Mustang and stuff like that. So, like, that's, like, it's crazy the detail in this game. There's some things about the game that I'm not a huge fan of. The licensing, like, I get that that's Gran Turismo 101, is you have to go through the licenses and stuff like that. Like, that I totally understand. But like, I never really liked that. I don't like that in this Gran Turismo you can't sell your cars. So like, I now have two Mustangs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can't
You
sell.
can't do that?
No. So like all I can
Why
do.
would you
You can't
sell a
get
car?
credits?
You can't sell your car for credits. So like, if I go and
I
like
can't buy this game.
if I go to like
Terrible.
change car, all I can do is just change a car, right? I can't do anything sale wise. I can get rid of duplicates, but I don't get credits in return for it. So like,
What happened to bot grinding like the Sunday Cup to get 1 million credits?
well, you
After,
could still grind the living hell out of the events and things like that.
But then you get the cars and sell them and get like cool stuff.
Right. But you only got the reward card, I think, once, unless you sold
Yeah.
it or something like that. But like,
No, past ones you got reward cards every time.
but like the big thing, the big thing is like for example, I have, let's see if I can. So you obviously see my Mustang up here, and then if you scroll down, I got a reward Mustang in here somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think two below.
Yeah, here I got a reward Mustang.
Oh, okay.
Same car, and you can tell this is not the performance package because the brakes on the wheels. But like,
Can you like discard it at least?
you can get rid of it, but like it used to be, you could just sell stuff. Like I don't need all of like I don't need
Oh, that's weird.
like and the oh there we go.
Interesting.
Like I don't need this many. I already have a Teggy Type R, so I don't need this. Like I don't need that. I have two of these stupid Aquas. Like, like that. That's one thing I'm like not a big fan of, and I think it's too campy with the cafe thing. Like you need to collect.
Oh,
so
really?
Then I got to listen to this guy talk incessant. Like, so there was a Mustang challenge. I'm like, all right, let's see what insight these guys have on the Mustang. And I'm like, any person who's done any sort of research on a Mustang will get. It's all generalized, simple little facts. Like I always skip right through that stuff because I don't really care.
I actually, I'm on the. I disagree. I actually like that cafe portion a lot because it's a. I know that maybe for like certain enthusiasts, like all these information you may already know, but I just like to see it presented in this video game. It's like it's a very relaxed atmosphere of like learning about cars, and like we all love chatting about cars, and the cafe experience feels like just meeting up with someone and just like talking about cars. That's like the environment that they tried to create, and I like that relaxed pace, and I like the variety that the cafe, the menu system kind of provides. And I know that's probably like different than previous Gran Turismos, but the whole car, there's a lot to know about cars. Cars are so different. There's front engine, rear wheel drive cars, front engine, front wheel drive cars, rear engine, rear wheel drive, all those different combinations. And it's like learning about all of those things can be a little bit daunting, and like learning all the rivalries. There's so much to know. And I like how they kind of present that information and that background story in very digestible ways. So I really enjoy the cafe portion of it because of that.
So, as an outsider to this game, because I don't own a PS5, but you can get it on PS4, obviously, like Chad said, but not owning the game and not having the time to really play this, would you guys, and you guys are just starting your kind of GT journeys in the last couple of weeks, do you feel like this game is geared towards creating new automotive enthusiasts?
I think there's a significant element of that to where like there's a lot of like basics, like Hansen was saying, like learning about these FR, MR, F all-wheel drive, mid, like all these different things. There's so much of that it's like the best thing I can describe it is that if you've ever played like an MMORPG, you have to do all this questing just to be halfway decent at the online portion of the PvP version of the game. And I look at this as the same vein. It's a lot of like it's a lot of questing to get to the point where like, all right, I can have some serious equipment. I can go race online. I can do this stuff and everything. That's for me. I mean, that's where like I loved Project Cars because it was you're in. Like you start off with like a low end racing career, and you got to work your way up. You got to have certain results, just like it would be in kind of real life or something like that. Whereas Gran Turismo's always been kind of about the overall experience, the artistic side of it, the building a new enthusiast via video games and things like that. Like, but there's a lot of the stuff like that I just wish, like, as an enthusiast or as a hardcore car guy, I could just switch off. So, like, I just want to go do this race so I can come back here, get the whatever, and move on. Like, there's, like I said, there's just that little element of it that, I don't know. It's not annoying. Like I said, it's like grinding a game to build up a character.
Yeah.
In this case, you're building up your cars, and then you can go and do the PvP stuff, the online stuff. And to anyone watching, and a lot of grinding, absolutely, Tyler, in more ways than you're thinking. Like what I really want to do with this is eventually get to a point where we could have some late night viewer races maybe with myself or Hansen or something like that in it.
That would be cool.
So like,
I like that.
where we basically sit back and watch you guys race, and if we get enough, we might do some things for the guys or race us and see how trash I am or whatever. Like just that's where
Epic trash.
That's so like for me in the last 2 to 4 years, the video games have been about real people, not the game itself, right? It's a means of, like Greg, you and I used to play Gran Turismo 6 a ton. It was a way, we raced, we had fun, but we talked. It was a way of hanging out with something to do to fill the voids and stuff like that. So like the social aspect of gaming is where I kind of gravitate towards. So, to each their own. Gran Turismo did not become this big and this successful by simply catering to, if it simply catered to people like me, a lot of people would not even bother with it. So I get why it's there,
Right.
Yeah. So to answer your question, Greg, about whether this will kind of like promote car culture, definitely. It tries it tries to again like teach you in digestible ways and little bits and pieces of just like all the backstory of like, well, why was this car a classic? Like why are these rivalries like there? Like what are the iconic German rear-wheel drive cars? What are the iconic 90s Japanese cars? So it's like it's almost like little bits of trivia that you also actively race in. So when you progress through this cafe system, I just like the variety that it offers, and it also teaches you a lot of like driving dynamics and like how cars just generally behave on the track. Like for example, I distinctly remember we were going through like a all-wheel drive kind of like rally, well, not rally cars, but like all-wheel drive Japanese cars, and I basically had an R32 Skyline GTR.
Shocking.
It was like it was one of those gift cars. I was like, I might as well modify this one because I love this one anyway. So it gave it the wide body treatment, and it had like racing suspension, racing brake pads, and like all the stuff. And it was basically just kind of like the R32s of old Gran Turismo. Is basically like the cheat code. It was so great. You could just throw this thing in the corners and just power through and accelerate through the corners. And then like after I spent about maybe 9 races with that thing, they send you to this front engine rear wheel drive German car. So immediately with my first race with an E30 M3, I was basically just spinning out nonstop because it doesn't have the all-wheel drive grip. So it kind of teaches you like how all these different cars, and we were able to drive all these different cars on track and stuff like that, which is great. But like on the PlayStation, it's like that's where you could really kind of just like, I don't care. I'm not gonna hurt myself if I crash, and you just kind of push it to the limits, and you really see like how these cars can differ at those limits. So it's a good teaching tool. That's what this Gran Turismo thing is. It's the real life driving simulator.
I would absolutely agree. There's a couple things I wanted to touch on. Number one, Antone with another comment. Hey man, I really appreciate you commenting, sticking around, talking with us through all the different topics, man. Really, 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 really appreciate that. Pretty long topic, but it's basically Gran Turismo versus Need for Speed, and how like Need for Speed's a little bit more casual as far as from the driving style and stuff, where Gran Turismo with the licenses, like he mentioned here, can be a little on the tougher side for casual gamers and things like that. Totally understand that. I used to be all about Need for Speed, but I've gravitated more towards Sims in recent years. But it's cars, man. If you're enjoying one product over the other, it's just like if Greg buys the wrong car, as he's prone to do, and I bought the right car. We both love each other because it's cars, and we're crazy about cars and all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? So like, good on you, man. And again, thanks for being you're an awesome contributor to this. So thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I will add to the Gran Turismo versus Need for Speed. I like the new genre of racing, car racing, which is like in the crew, and also I think Need for Speed or Forza Horizon, where it's like this open world concept, and combining like Grand Theft Auto and just like all these arcadey racing games. I really like playing the crew because they had like this condensed version open world map of the United States, and you could just kind of like drive anywhere in this fictitious United States. And I thought that
That's
was
cool.
fun. I just spent hours just like driving around trying to get from like New York City all the way to San Francisco, crossing the country. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah,
Ooh, what kind of car do you have there?
this is Teggy Type R Integra.
Integra.
Ah,
Another one where I
very
thought
nice.
it blasphemous to put forced induction on it, but this is my go-to like front car. Like I haven't really done too much to it. I was
Yeah.
the last I modded this, I was still learning. So like I went and was like, oh, let's see what the wide body looks at. That was like the first time I ever experienced the wide body, and I was like, this looks dumb as hell. Like it's fender overlaps the wheel and stuff. Like that's before I really dove too deeply into the game and stuff. But like, no, like this is a fun little. It's crazy good. Like most of my cars, if you're noticing a theme here, apart from the Mustang, because duh, the E30 is lightweight, as much NA as possible, and they do really well in a lot of different series and stuff. So like, it's kind of where my go-to is for these. Like I think I put this in the E30. I put more miles on than pretty much anything else because they fit so many classes and they're really good for those. A lot of the early on phases.
Yeah. Yeah, this is cool. I want to get back into gaming so badly.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is a pretty fun game, and it's some games like kind of you have to dedicate so much attention to it too.
Yeah.
With these ones, it's like do a couple of races. It only takes like about 15, 20 minutes, and like if you could walk away from it easily. Some other games just like kind of you have to heavily invest in it. And just
Right.
a quick comment on the Project Cars game, because I think I did play Project Cars 2. The career progression on that thing is pretty good, but it didn't have enough to kind of like keep my attention, because it always like followed the same procedure where it's like, hey, you get this email, like the sponsor is like interested in like having you as a driver or something like that, and then it's like rinse and repeat. There's like nothing too interesting with the career development.
That game, like, I totally get you there. Like, totally agree 100%. Again, like I said, like to me, that game got great when you started racing online. And actually, if we get to that, so like you remember the old like, the Gran Turismo drivers turned actual race car drivers. Well, that's the sports section here. This is basically what you would consider if you come from. That's personal information. That's why it popped up like this. And now I'm screwed. In any rate,
It's okay. Nothing to see here. There's nothing behind the curtain.
ha.
There's no wizard. It's just a guy.
Problem solved. But like they returned the ranked play, and there's actually like a really good ranking system. So like, if I'm at a certain level, I'm not gonna I can hop into a lobby of guys who are of the equal level. It's kind of its own skill-based matchmaking, but it's doing it via ranked. So like I can be in lobbies where I'm not going to just get owned by a guy in a freaking tuk-tuk because he's so good at the game that he's just, you know what I mean?
I would love to see that happen. I would spectate that for probably a few days. I would love to see you get owned by a epic good gamer in GT7 in a tuk-tuk. That would be great.
I'd be open to a lot of these things. Like, a lot of people think, like, with the Mustang and, me, the drag racing with the Polestar or the VR or the VN and all that other stuff. And, and someone would comment, my 93 blah, blah, blah would toast that. you know what that would be? Great content. I'd get to see an awesome car built that's faster than a 500 horsepower modern Mustang. That sounds like a win-win to me. It's the same thing with this. It's like if someone's going to just destroy me, I'll spectate the hell out of that, you know. And hopefully in the not too distant future, I will have a more dedicated live stream to Gran Turismo. To where like we can get in touch, like do community races, things like that. So definitely you're gonna want to stay tuned for that, because I think that's gonna be awesome. Because part of this whole thing is building a community, and I think this does community better than a whole heck of a lot of things.
Yeah.
So, question for you guys, and also question for all the viewers out there: when you're playing like Gran Turismo 7 or other Gran Turismo, what's your favorite camera view? Is it like on the hood? Is it like right behind the car, or inside the cockpit for GT7?
I for the longest time did the front spoiler, like the front lip, but then I realized it was way too close to the ground, and then I just went hood like everyone else in existence.
Yeah, that you're looking at it. You're looking at my preferred one.
This view that you're watching right here. This is what I do. Same.
Okay, I like to switch in between. I do like the front, the spoiler look, but because GT7 they did a really good job modeling the interiors of the cars, that I really enjoy driving through the cockpit, just because it kind of gives you that perspective. The only drawback to that is like when you're racing, and I learned this in autocross, is that and this is a pretty common thing, but it's like you want to look where you're going, right? So sometimes in autocross, you have to look through your side window. And that's one thing that's missing here, is like when you're trying to make that turn, there's not enough for you to look at, unless you have like a really wide screen or something like that. I don't know if Gran Turismo 7 supports that, but like if you could see your side windows, that would make that view even better, because then I could just kind of like sneak over there and just like, oh, that's where my exit point is, and so on.
Usually on the controllers, there's a way to like look around. I think it's like the right joy, but also in VR, they have in the VR experience. I don't know if GT7 has it available yet, but in racing games where you'd have sort of your stuff for the wheel, you'd be able to look around and kind of see that stuff too. But on a standard controller, usually your right joystick is the look around.
You can do that, but it's like I'm worried about like nailing the apex and like placing my car correctly. That if I also try to look, it's going. I'm going to do bad things.
So I mean, I think I know a lot. Previous Gran Turismos were multi-monitor capable. So you could run like a 3-monitor setup that would mimic the cockpit of the car.
Surround.
I don't know how that's done exactly, or if it's even a thing for Gran Turismo 7, but I know that's been a thing in the past. I remember going to auto shows and doing the FT1 rig with multiple monitors and things like that.
Yep. That was cool.
Antone asks if we ever did Drive Club for PS4. I dabbled a little bit into it, found it arcadey for my taste. And kind of that was that. I don't know, Hansen, you guys both had PS4s. Did you guys dive into Drive Club all that much, or?
Yeah.
No, I didn't, because I heard the physics were trash.
Yeah, I do remember. I think that was a free game, right? I did play it for a little bit, and like I thought, no.
I think it came. I think there was like a beta that was really limited, but if you wanted the full game, you had to pay for it.
Yeah,
I do remember looking at, and this is when the PS4 was first available, and like they had the weather effects, and I saw like all the raindrops dropping on the windshield, and that actually blew my mind. I was like, oh my goodness, like they were able to replicate that. But unfortunately, cool. They weren't able to replicate a good driving game, so I stopped playing
it. Yes, good call.
Tyler coming up with Need for Speed Shift 2 had the best cockpit driving. Was a big seller for the game. You got tunnel vision and everything. I vaguely remember that. I think I had...
Oh, yeah.
I forget which shift I had. But, Yeah, it's
I
actually
remember that where you get like a blur kind of effect to it. That was neat. I think that was a really cool feature because you do like when you get going that fast, like things do start to like distort. Like when you get over 100, things start to like get a little funky, and then you go like 120, 30, 40, and you're like, okay, you do get that tunnel vision. It's not like it's a video game because it was like animated and blurred, sort of like an anime, but it's not like that in real life. But you do get that tunnel vision where you sort of just stop paying attention to like the outside world and you're really focused on what's ahead of you.
Yeah. So oh, I'm sorry, Hansen. Go ahead.
I was going to ask you, Chad. Like, so, what don't you like about the? Well, I guess you talked about some of the things that you don't like about Gran Turismo. So, but are there other things that you didn't like about it?
So there's one actually rather large one that I don't like, and it goes to the Mustang I put up. The audio's wrong when it comes to the Mustang and the engine note, and it drives me nuts. It has this higher pitch to it, sound more akin to the BMW V8 in like in the E90 and 92 M3s. It has that higher.
No, they just made it an EcoBoost.
They had a higher pitch to it. It doesn't have that deep growl that mine does. Could
it be that your performance exhaust has destroyed your ears?
Yes, and also you have long tube headers, so let's be honest here. You have a distorted viewpoint from what a normal V8 Mustang sounds like.
Well, to be fair, yes, correct. I don't actually have. I couldn't begin to tell you what the stock Mustang GT from my 2015 sounds like because my Mustang never came. I never had it with a stock exhaust. Like it just came with a Axleback at the time and a Resonator Delete. But even modded, it sounds way too high pitch versus the like. So like the Coyote's a little bit higher pitch than the LS, and this is a step higher pitch than that with. Basically the same mods. I mean, sure, I eventually put a supercharger on it because I was like, fuck it, I need more power. But the engine note is off, and it's. I'm gonna make next week. I'm gonna make a side-by-side video of what I'm talking about, so you guys can actually hear it. Because it's not a little bit different. It's a lot different, and it's. It's not a reason not to get the game. It's when you constantly are getting in the face with the real driving simulator, it's annoying. Like it's one of those nitpicky things. Is it a reason to stop playing the game? 100% not. I love Gran Turismo's.
It's the real driving simulator, not the real sound simulator, Chad.
Well, if it's
exactly.
So
get it correct.
Do you drive with
Polyphony
earplugs?
Digital is more about driving than accuracy in audio.
And that's, ladies and gentlemen, how Greg nukes clutches. They'll learn something every day.
I don't know how those relate, but okay.
At any rate,
I do have one issue with the game, and I don't think you've touched on this yet, Chad. You pointed out how many Mustangs there are, and for certain brands, there's so many iterations of the same car, like the Skylines. I love Skylines. There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of Toyota Supras. There's a bunch of Ford Mustangs, but they don't have the Hyundai Veloster N. They don't have the new C8 Corvette. They don't have a lot of cars. They have, I think, like over 400 cars, but it's really
it's a little surprising.
They have multiple copies of the same thing. So I'm like, I kind of find that kind of a bummer because it's like, Oh, they also don't have the new Mark 8 GTI too, which it's like this is supposed to represent cars that you could buy today, and if you go to the Hyundai brand, there's only like Genesis, like the old Genesis, and then I think there's like some Hyundai race cars or something like that, which is a little weird.
It's going to be DLCs, downloadable stuff. Yeah. That's how it's worked for a couple of different iterations of this video game now, with Sport, with this, and with the last one, I think. And that's what a lot of just games in general do now, is they release the game and then they just give you DLCs as you go. So I think that they've announced that they preloaded our expectations on that too. So this is not something that it was like sprung on us.
Yeah. He just pulled up all these race cars. Can you go over to the last one? Does that have like a hologram Hyundai branding or something like that on the? Yeah, look at that.
Ooh, that's cool.
Oh, these are all those vision concepts that like.
Yeah.
What is that? I want that.
But the
I
cool
don't know,
thing
but
about
it's
these
got 640 horses. Wow, and 2,100 pounds. Yikes!
it's actually
2,100 pounds and how many horsepower?
640.
640. Yeah.
But
Oh yeah, that's
So-
not slow.
but enough
Like,
downforce.
look at the look at this Hyundai lineup, 6 cars, which is
Seems enough.
basically just like it's really 2 cars, right? Because it's the
Correct.
Hyundai Genesis and like these weird cars.
Wait, there's a
Well,
rally
if you
car.
go-
Like that should be a Veloster and isn't.
Yeah,
What is that? An I what?
It's a
it's
Genesis.
the Hyundai
or-
Genesis. Yeah,
That's is it
the
that's
old
what
Hyundai
it is,
Genesis,
Yeah.
Ford
Oh,
Genesis.
wow. So it is.
But if you go to like go to Ford and see how big this roster is. I mean, the Ford Raptors there, crazy.
And that's not.
Alright,
That's
so
the,
there's a Raptor in the game, and there's not. Alright, there's a Raptor and not a C8. That's weird to me.
Yeah.
hey, no C8, but Mustang rally car.
Mustang rally
yeah.
car.
So I am
Super
looking
doesn't need
forward
be
to
in
like
this
doing
game.
a bunch of rally stuff in this game, though.
Yeah, I just actually
Yeah.
I did my first rally kind of cafe challenge, whatever the hell they are, mission, I guess is the best way to describe it. Rally's going to be tricky. It's that's one of those ones you got to
agreed.
grind and like do a lot of because like
Yeah.
you have to calibrate your brain to it.
Yeah.
But I see nothing wrong. I mean, I feel like having a Mustang GT3 car that never existed is well worth not having a Veloster in. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I know that
with that.
amount of like modeling work to kind of like dial everything in is like a lot of effort, but I don't know, it just seems kind of, it's like they've been working on this game for so long, and
Well, if you go and you look actually at it, this is almost, in a lot of cases, almost an identical roster to GT Sport, which definitely tells me, like Greg said, there's going to be DLCs and addable content.
yeah.
And the nature of the video game beast that EA loves and a lot of us hate is, unfortunately, it's, there's the microtransactions have like seeped their way in. It's, the most successful games on the market now are free to play. And then they just do these little micro things to you. So like, I mean, while I wish like it would come with like more cars, especially if you get like the collector edition, which how that works on digital, I have no idea. But, especially like it's a $60, $70 game and you're getting the same basic roster as you did in the previous game, just everything's all updated. So I'm guessing there's going to be DLC packs. I just hope they're not stupid. Like if like let's just say they release an N DLC or N expansion pack. I just hope it's not like $10 to the point where you're like, this is stupid. For 2 or 3, if they're like a couple bucks here and there, I get it. That's fine. But like if they're just so expensive to where it's like, I'm gonna spend hundreds of dollars on this game, forget it. Like no. Like, and I'm with Greg. I'm with you too. Like they have, Corvettes and stuff in here, but they don't have the C8. Like like why? Why not?
That's super surprising to me.
So I could see this going this one unique way because we've spent some time with the automotive industry and we get like the embargoed information, the press releases and stuff. They could really use this as a great tool for unveiling new cars. I think that would be really awesome. Where the new fictitious GR vehicle is coming out, and it's also going to come out at the same time on Gran Turismo 7. You could experience it for yourself.
I like that. See, in case you can't own it in real life, you can own it in game. That's
I
nice.
mean, why not do a pre-release of it, right? Like, you know, the new,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, like
Exactly.
drive this before real people can, you know, like
Yeah.
that would be, I mean, especially when when you start to see that, like, obviously the pandemic played a big part of it, but I think you're already seeing more and more people are buying from their living room, you know, with just showing up to the dealership to make sure all the, you know, T's are dotted and the I's are crossed. You know, like this is I mean, I'm not saying you would go and test drive this, like say the new Corvette on a track and be like, wow, my thumbs say this is a great car, I need to buy it. Like, you know, like like you're not going to do a digital test drive or anything, but like it'd do a lot to garner excitement. Like we were talking about like the STI and stuff like that. Like what if you just like, I don't even know if it's in here, but like what if Toyota did like a GR Corolla in the game before you could buy it, and you're like, oh, this is so cool, like blah blah blah, like all this other stuff. Like I don't know, man. Like, I mean, why does this have to be in the game and your the Veloster isn't? Like, why is a Prius in an enthusiast game? Like, can we just talk about the fact that there's a freaking Prius in a racing game? Why? Like, there should be a segment where you light this on fire as a ceremonial sacrifice to the gods or some nonsense. Like, you should not have the option to purchase this for 24.5 credits. Like, you know, like all this stuff.
Wow, that is a bargain.
Oh, go,
but yeah, there's that GR Yaris, and Crown Athlete.
Why is
I don't know? It's
this
weird.
This is a limo. This is like putting a Maybach in this game. You know, I don't get these taxis. I guess they're supposed to be ring taxis, so to speak, because there's a Challenger. But like,
a ton of Supras.
Do we need two of them?
And yeah, they have the 19 model and the 20 model. So you'll notice in the 20, that's actually different years. In the US, the 2020 Supra was the first one, and then in 2021 they got a healthy power bump.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool that they represented that here. But yeah, it's like the same exact model, and then it's like, hey, here's one additional car. So, I'm hoping, you know, when the DLCs come out, I'll buy it. You know, just because I'm going to anyway. I'm going to complain about it, but I will buy it.
You own the game. You're just going to do it.
I'm just you're going to swear every second into your wallet. So on.
It's all about the FOMO. Yeah, your fear of missing out on the DLC.
It's not even that for me. Like for me, it was like, you know, that's what Project Cars did so well. We should really put a counter on how many times these stupid things fall out of my ears on the stream.
I'm just imagining that AirPods are constantly jumping out of your head, like, you know, they're just refreshing themselves.
I mean, it's not. If you're not prepared, it can be a scary place. But like, it's one of those crazy things. Like, you're invested in the game, you're gonna see a car you want, and you're like, fine. Yeah. You know, like it's just like the same thing. Like I you know, Call of Duty. It's like, fine. Like you begrudgingly give these people money and then you curse them under your breath. Like it's like it's not healthy behavior, but.
By the way, I see Ken mentioned that, hey, still alive, guys. Nice. Had to go do some things. Welcome back. We're talking about Gran Turismo 7 right now.
Yes. Welcome back. We usually stream for like 2 hours every Monday, so we're on for a long time. Yeah,
but you know, like back to the DLC thing. It's like, when was the last Gran Turismo title released? That must have been like 3 or 4 years ago, right? With GT Sport. Yeah. So like, this is not like an EA game, or it's not like a Madden game where there's going to be another one next year. So like, I'm pretty sure, even though the car list kind of sucks right now, this is a game that's going to be with us for a long time.
Many years.
And I'm pretty sure, they're going to be constantly working on the car list. I don't know that for sure, but I just, you know, I have faith that they're going to do that.
One would expect it. I mean, obviously there's a lot more different things. Yeah. So there's like licensing for some of these cars. Like you actually have to have a license for it. That's why like in Project Cars, there was no Porsche GT3 car. There was a rough GT3 car that they made like a digital representation of the V8 swapped rough 911 into a GT3 car.
Actually,
I don't think they need a Sonata 2.0 turbo. Although if a Prius is in the game, sure, throw it in.
yeah. um,
Like,
how about
By the way,
Ferraris?
that's a comment from Roman.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
Anyone can't
yeah,
see it. It's the comment from Roman. They need a
yeah.
2011 Sonata 2.0T. No, they definitely do not.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
It's
They do
like
not. The Sonata
it's like
is-
who? It's like who put Daewoo Lanos into Gran Turismo 7?
You just got killed by Daewoo Lanos, mother.
I mean, this is in the game.
If anyone knows, if any of our
Oh,
people,
God.
if any of our fans that are still watching know that movie, please comment it. I would love to see it.
I'm now just trying to find obscure cars to trigger Hansen. Like, hey, you can drive this.
Ooh, is that a cappuccino?
It's a
No,
Copen.
it's
Oh no, it's a Daihatsu.
Copen.
Or the
Yeah,
race
yeah,
version of it.
It's the car that looks similar from the front or the back.
Yes,
It's
100%.
god awful is what it is.
Correct.
Yeah.
But like,
Um,
I don't know, like, you know, and they actually got rid of a lot of cars from like GT6. Like, there was a Lexus IS 300 that I used to love racing with, and it's gone. And now, like,
Yeah.
hmm.
you know,
A
Yeah.
bunch of
Oh.
RCFs. Yeah.
yeah. Well, these are
Tyler,
the GT.
yes, we've seen that Judd V10 build. Tyler had talked about Ryan Truex build.
Yes.
The
Oh,
Judd V10
yeah.
Supra. Everyone that is a car enthusiast has seen that build. So yes, we have, because that build is unbelievable, because it sounds so ridiculous, and it's just like did they make that as an actual just to be a drift car, or did they make it just for shits and giggles? I forget.
No. So it's actually a grip car first that can drift.
Mm.
So he,
Okay,
but
that's
like
cool.
that engine is so nuts, and it's so old. It's like a 10-year-old engine. Like,
I know.
but it's
But
got
it's a
like,
Judd V10. It's basically an F1 engine.
well, that's where it started life
That's crazy.
as that. But it's like crazy to think like it doesn't have like an accessory drive per se. It just has gears. So like a
Right.
timing gears instead of a chain for absolute precision
cool.
at high RPM.
Oh wow.
It has a throttle body that instead of just opening like this or like that, it slides
Yeah.
open for absolute precision when it comes to like airflow and stuff like that. Like, it's nuts. And he put it in a Supra. Sure.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, it sounds epic. I love that he does that. I love that he's not married to. He obviously deals a lot with Toyota with like the GT 458 or whatever that or
yeah.
86.
Yeah.
And then he
GT4,
did
586,
this
yeah.
with the Supra. Like, I love where his
Yeah.
brain goes, because it's a lot of times like, all right, I didn't think Judd V10, but I was like, why don't you put like some high revving or like a Super GT motor? And then he obviously made the
Does
exact
that.
correct choice and does that. So,
Correct.
I love his stuff, man. Like, I love the level of detail. Like, I think there's a video where they use these like little Legos that are like cylindrical to make matched headers, so you know exactly the distance before you go. And they made theirs out of Inconel, but it's
That's cool.
they're these little blocks, and they're so cool for like the headers and things of that nature. I want to see if I can find it.
Can we talk about the diffuser on this car first that's on the screen?
I've actually seen this car in person before. The
This is the
Vassar
RCF,
Sullivan.
right?
Yeah. This car looks sick, man.
Yeah.
But yeah,
This is
it's
great.
it's gigantic.
Look at the rear diffuser. It looks like a tail.
Yeah.
It's so crazy looking.
It's like the back of my Roomba.
It does. It looks like what is it called? The vortex generators on the back of the top of Evos.
Right.
And
Yeah, the old Evo 9.
It's like the straked upward kind of things. It's
Yeah,
just hilarious.
Sonic the
looking.
Hedgehog thing going
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
Yeah, well,
exactly.
it's all to give, like, this is akin to like the Continental GT. Like, this has got to compete against 911s, 488s.
Right.
You know.
Oh yeah, your
So,
graphics
like,
are gonna be bonkers
but
at that point.
yeah, like, it's nuts. So like, but the 2UR race engine that they use
Yeah.
is nuts.
So
Like,
good.
it sounds so good. But here, let me throw this up. So like, these are those these are the things I was talking about. Like these are all little blocks, these yellow things, and you use them to basically build out the header in the engine bay, so you can get power steering pumps, steering racks, I should say, headers, or all the things that would get in the way, and you can build a matched set of headers without actually building a matched set of headers, which I always thought was crazy cool.
So wait, hang on. Those are Legos?
They're not actual Legos. These are specifically designed to fit this purpose of designing and building headers. But like,
so are they malleable, like pipes?
I guess you build them section by section.
Yeah, right? By section. So he should show like here. So here you go.
Okay.
So like, they're each a little block, and you rotate them, and like the yellow has different cape.
Oh, I see. So they're It's like snaps together kind of thing. They're magnetic.
Yeah. Or they might even just clip together.
Yeah. So there's little like clips, and you can kind of like twist them to. Oh, so that's cool. And then you just follow the shape of how this works.
Or is this like a prototyping tool?
It's a prototyping tool. So you would take this out, and then you would send it off to the shop.
Oh, okay.
I've never seen that before. That's the coolest thing. I've literally never seen a tool like that, to be able to like put it into a bay and like manipulate it however you want in any direction. That's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I gotta be honest with you.
Yeah,
it's normally like exhaust shops, they probably take like a 3D scanner and like scan the engine bay.
Yeah.
And they probably take an engineer to kind of like figure out, okay, well, this is how you could kind of like put all the different bends in there so that we could package it. So this is like a really neat way when you don't have access to those tools, but you have the car, you get like all of these things, and you just kind of like build it one by one, shape it all together, and then send that out for fabrication. That's really cool.
Yeah, I dig that.
I figure you guys get a kick out of that one.
Yeah.
Roman, dude. Why are we talking about the Kia Stinger? The bane of my freaking existence.
I think we should make it a goal for this live stream to mention the Kia Stinger GT all the time, every time.
No,
I think we should just get Hansen or get Greg one.
Yeah, we should gift him that.
No,
but yeah, let's check if there is a Kia in the GT7. I don't think there is.
Don't do that. Let's not do that. Let's look at better cars that are literally. I'd take the Prius.
Oh wait, there's no Kia in this game. Sorry, Greg.
There's no Kia. Oh
yes, good.
Shucks.
No Stinger in the game.
Darn. How about let's take a look at something that is up Gregson's alley. The Jag.
The Jag.
Oh, we got.
What kind of Jag do we have?
Also, Roman, if you're not familiar with the backstory, I do not like the Kia Stinger, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the car. It has everything to do with why Kia made that car in the first place. They made a really sick concept car called, I think it's called the GT Stinger, and they had an opportunity to make a really cool two-door car, and they basically just made a four-door sedan that was quick that no one asked for, and it bothered the living shit out of me. So
they probably were like, people are still buying sedans, right? Yeah, let's go make this thing.
And then they were like, oh wow, no one's buying sedans. Ooh, yeah, now we're talking. F-Type, what is that? F-Type GT3 car?
It's an F-Type concept.
Concept, yeah.
Emil Frey Racing did do a F-Type GT3, but it was in the similar vein to how Callaway Corvette in Germany did a Corvette GT3, so it wasn't manufacturer supported.
Nice. Yo, that's sick.
Check out that crazy wing. Wow.
Yeah, well,
the chassis mounted wing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not. Oh,
yeah,
it's truck mounted, I guess. Yeah.
Is it? I don't know. I can't see in game. But
go to the stock Jag. I'm curious what year it is. It might be like a 2013 or something. Oh, 14.
It's a 14.
Nice. F-Type SVR? Oh, F-Type R.
No, just an R. SVR is 2017 plus.
Okay. And that's the other thing that I kind of found annoying was that they advertise that there's like official paint colors for the cars, but it's really a select amount of paints. Like I figured, like
It's
when
not a
you were
lot.
buying like these cars, like when you're changing colors, that they'd actually display the actual colors names,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's only for select models.
Yeah.
That's lame. Yeah.
But
Look at that
that
butte.
is beautiful.
That's
That's a
beautiful.
beautiful car.
So if I'm gonna buy a sports car, it's between what you're looking at and the C6 Corvette Z06. So quick, go to that one, Chad. It's between those two.
Because they're
Hurry before
roughly
everyone
priced
forgets
the
what the
same,
F-Type
right?
looks like.
I don't
Yeah.
think the C6Z is in the game.
Oh, really?
Nope.
Uh,
You have this, the ZR1,
Oh,
ZR1.
and then whatever, and that's a C7. So
That's a 7.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how the C7 ZR1 is ugly as hell? Can we just talk about that for a minute?
It's a little
so
busy.
ugly.
Yeah. It's
It's so
It's-
butt ugly, man.
it's not great. Yeah, the front fascia is a little noisy.
There looks great. The back
Yeah.
end looks fantastic. The front end looks
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
But man, that C6 ZR1, I'll tell you, if I can save enough, that's also on the list. But the problem is, it's more expensive, and I wouldn't want to drive it because
It
that's a
would try to
collector's
kill you. Yeah.
Well,
this is
Um,
actually
I mean,
tamer than the Z or the ZR6. This is a little softer ride. I mean, it's
Okay.
don't get it wrong. It's
It's
still
got
a
more
very
power.
high performance setup. But the Z06 is the more track focused. This is the more
Yeah.
I don't want to say performance in the real world
Yeah.
kind of a thing,
Cruiser.
but
Yeah.
it's technically more comfortable.
Yeah.
I guess is the best way.
But, like,
I
I
do
wouldn't want-
remember.
I think prices for these things are going to go crazy in the next
Yeah.
2 to 3 years. I really do.
Oh, they've
And,
already
like,
gone
I would
nuts.
for the Z because I think like I wouldn't want to drive this because of the collector's potential value.
I do remember you were just talking about pricing when that came out. That was already a $100,000 Corvette.
Yes.
And the second thing I remember about it is that there's a clear section on the hood where you could see through the engine, or see
Which
through
is
the
cool.
and see the supercharger.
Yeah, which
So-
is super cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I
Lovely
would get
car.
a ZR1. I'd get the C6, and I would replace the headlights with updated headlights. I'd do better offset wheels. I'd put like some cool carbon fiber bits on it. But I do. It's funny, like it's between the two cars, between this or not this, but the C6 Z06 and the F-Type. They're basically the same car on paper, which is hilarious. Like both of them do like about 11.7 in the quarter.
Mm-mm.
Both of them have 0 to 60 times in the like the mid 3 to late 3 second range. One of them, but performance wise on paper, they're basically the same car. On different tracks, they're within about a second of each other. It's super funny, but honestly, like if you want like a GT car, like a nice GT car, get the F-Type. If you want like a more sports car, get the C6 Z06. That's what it
Okay.
boils down to.
that's fair.
If you want it to last
fair.
and work as intended, get the Corvette.
That's
That
also
also
very fair.
because not British.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we were talking with our buddies locally that are car builders over at Blue Sky. Their names are Jesse and Jeff, and they build a ton of cars, and they're just like, yeah, you know, if you get a C6, we can work on it, because they're like American muscle performance enthusiasts, and they do a lot of that stuff. But you know, they basically said like, you know, the C6 Z06 is one of the best values for money
Oh yeah.
right now. But I would
Yeah.
argue that it's one of the best values for money ever, to be quite honest, because it's one of those things where, you know, yes, you get sort of this, you know, cheap interior, sure, but what you're buying for in performance way overcompensates for what you're, you know, what the detriment of the interior.
Oh yeah, the fact that they actually took in the C6 Z06, they actually completely redid the subframe to get a new engine cradle so they could mount it lower and further back than the stock engine in a regular C6.
cool.
Or even, don't quote me on this, I have to look. But the ZR1, I think the engine is in the stock location. So again, it's ballistically fast, but it's, you know, the attention to detail on the Z06 is nuts. I mean, I think the engine cradle is made out of magnesium. The LS7 is an all-timer.
Yep.
Just insane to think 427 cubic inches, small block. Like, that's nuts.
Yeah, 7 liters, which is nuts.
It's a cam, headwork, trunnion fix, long tubes away from 600 horsepower. Easily. Like, just... It's an amazing machine. And like, as much as like as fast as this is, like, you could tell who they're aiming it at, but the simple fact that a Z06 from this generation you couldn't get with chrome wheels. This came with chrome wheels stock. That should kind of tell you the, you know.
Yeah, the demographic for that.
Like, you're definitely wearing multiple. You have multiple pairs of New Balances if you have this one. Maybe.
I was just gonna say, if I get a C6 Z06, I will buy a pair of New Balance.
Yeah.
Don't you already
and
have
probably
a pair?
jorts.
So
no, I don't have. I don't have New Balance.
Is there another C6 model that we can compare this to, or is this the only C6 on Gran Turismo 7? Yeah,
it's the only one.
Okay, because I just wanted to say, like, the back hatch, is the C6, is that glass? Or, because it looks like it's glass here, right?
Yes, it is glass.
And I mean, just that the blacked out roof and like the blue, this thing just looks so freaking amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't
looks awesome.
like other C6s looking that good, but this looks really good.
So yeah, if you do, like, I think Chad's gonna bring it up. If you search C6 Z06 online, when the C5s came out, there were a bunch of different, like, sort of body styles to it. Everything from the belt line down was the same, but then you had sort of the T-top, which is what my dad had, which you got sort of the fastback, which was this.
Okay.
You got sort of that fastback look, and that had like a targa top. Then there was one, the C5 Z06 actually had like a chopped back and a trunk to it, which I don't know what that body style was called. I think that was just called the coupe, and not the fastback. This technically is, I think, the fastback or the hatchback, one or the other. But this is the body style, essentially. You get that glass hatch that opens up, and, like, I don't know, it's just such a classic look. To me, this is the best looking Corvette. Modern Corvette.
Oh, without
C1s and C2s, aside.
I do have a place in my heart for the C7 Grand Sports.
Yes, those are great.
Like the kind of like the Z06 body style, but like the base Corvette power plant basically, and also like the sticker pack on the Grand Sports. Looks really good.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Super cool. I remember driving one of those at one of our press events, and man, the Grand Sport, they sound so good that the exhaust almost like sings. It doesn't. It's not like as crazy as the Z06, but it's not a bass. It doesn't sound as, like, boring. Not that a V8 Corvette sounds boring as like a base model, but man, I don't know what it was. The tone and the tonality of that exhaust on that car, it really just like sung. It was really cool.
They do a really good job of extracting not what you would expect noise wise out of pushrod V8s, and because they sound they don't sound industrial. They sound, I don't want to say exotic, might not be the right word, but it doesn't sound like some guy in his pickup truck with an exhaust. It sounds sporty, I guess is the best way to put it.
Right.
Now, if I can recall, that C7, that had a 7-speed manual transmission, right?
7
Yes.
Does that sound right?
Yep.
Because I do remember shifting that. I was like, this is very weird. Like,
it was odd. It was very odd.
Space very odd.
6 or 8.
Yeah. Like or odd number of gears in manual transmissions, except for 5-speed. Of course, 7-speed just seems odd.
Yeah, it was a little strange.
Porsche does a very similar thing in their manuals. They had a 7-speed, so it's just how you get a manual box to be a performer and meet fuel efficiency. Because even in a car like the like the ZR1, like this, even in a car like that, they're still striving to get gas mileage out of it. And how do you do that at 65 miles an hour? Well, you add just the tallest freaking gear the engine can turn over, big
Right.
supercharged lump of a V8 has no problem with that. So you're barely working it, and you get decent gas mileage. And like, but I mean, even if you look, I think F1's up to 8 gears. Even they're not H pattern or even sequential anymore, but you know they're up to 8 speeds now, which is insane. I mean, it's almost an automatic transmission. They do the upshifts, but they can get to a corner and say they're in 8th and they want to be in 5th. You know, it's 1, 2, 3 in the corner, and then the car is just when it's optimal to downshift. That's when it does it for it.
Yeah. Mark, what about the old 3 speeds? Yeah, they're also hello, Mark. He's one of our, he's a buddy of ours from the Volvo community. Yeah, what about them? Exactly. They're very old and they're very not a lot of gears. That's about all I can
Listen,
say
if it's
about
not 3 on the tree, what are we talking about here? Well, it's funny you mention it.
Good transmissions. That's what we're talking about.
I wonder if I have the picture up here. Whoops.
What's happening?
Bye, Chad.
No, I thought I had a picture of my dad's
Buy our
vet.
merch.
That had my dad's vet, as modified as was, had a 3-speed transmission. I was in it, manual box. So like, just throw it in second gear, and it's basically an automatic from there out.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was seeing if I could find a picture of it, but now's not the time to give everyone crotch cam.
Yeah.
Tune into
Instead, let's take a look at this C7 ZR1, which
No, let's get it
really
off the
hates.
screen because it's ugly.
All right, let me actually. You know what? I got something that'll make you feel much better about that, Greg.
Oh, I'm afraid to see this.
Oh no.
Or
Yeah. Ooh. Okay, now we're good. No, put that back. That was so much better.
There we go.
Ooh. Oof. Did not see that coming.
Oh God. All right. Well, it was nice talking to you guys. See you later.
Oh man,
Now
but
I'm depressed.
yeah. Anything else, you gents? And when I say gents, I mean ladies and gentlemen in the chat. Anything else for tonight? Because that 2 hours flew by. We went through like 3 topics.
Yeah,
Usually we need
wow.
like 12.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we went through a lot, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think that's it. I think everyone else that's still hanging out, thank you guys so much for watching so long. You guys are the real ones. You guys are super fun to hang out and chat with. I think one of these next couple of streams we should definitely do just what you guys are driving and keep going with like what's going on, because everyone at the beginning was like so engaged, and I think we should just continue with like what you guys are building and then just throw up pictures of like what you guys have. So if anyone's still on the stream and wants to do that, I think that would be really cool to do. Go shoot us a message on Facebook. We still look at all that stuff, or Instagram, either one of those, and shoot us some pictures of your cars. I think that would be really cool to do. Be like, hey, here's what we're working on, and then we can throw up pictures of exactly what you're working on and talk about your car, because I think that would be a really neat thing to do on stream, is talk about what our followers are building. Like, we like to build cars, and that's what we want to do on our YouTube channels, apart from like doing reviews and building cars and doing fun stuff, is like, again, build a community around you guys and talk to you about it. So if you guys want, DM us, shoot us all your pictures, and we'll make a full stream, or maybe even multiple
pictures
streams out of
only,
like
please.
all of your cars. Yes, high quality pictures only.
Yeah.
Please no potato cam. That would be great, because we don't have that whole enhanced thing from Super Troopers. That doesn't exist. So just give us good stuff.
All right, guys. Well, once again, on behalf of Greg, Hansen, and myself, I just want to thank everyone for watching, and hey, we will catch you next week, same time, same place.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
See you guys.